some obligatory questions that we're going to ask of you and your colleague, Ms. Lago, now. And I'll start with, first, is there anything that you're aware of in your background that might present a conflict of interest with the duties of the office to which you've been nominated?
No.
No.
Okay. Second, do you know of any reason, personal or otherwise, that would in any way prevent you from fully and honorably discharging the responsibilities of the office to which you've been nominated?
No.
No.
Third, do you agree without reservation to respond to any reasonable summons to appear and testify before any duly constituted committee of the Congress if you are confirmed?
Yes.
Yes.
Finally, do you commit to provide a prompt response in writing to any questions addressed to you by any senator or the committee?
Yes.
Yes, Chairman.
Very good. All right, let's start, and I'll begin with some questions for you, Ms. Lago, on supply chain disruptions. Obviously, this is an enormously important challenge. I just spent a week getting all over the state of Oregon, virtually every nook and cranny in the state, and I just heard constantly about the challenges of increased demand, port congestion, disrupting so much in the way of the movement of everyday consumer goods. Now, in my home state, where growing, making, and shipping products for exports is a priority, we have 1 out of 4 jobs revolving around trade. The trade jobs often pay better than do the non-trade jobs. Supply chain disruptions have made it more difficult to get Oregon blueberries and apples and other products to markets around the globe. So there is much to do, and let me just start with kind of the first two kind of judgments here. First, the United States needs to make major investments in U.S. essential manufacturing. This would, for example, include the FABS Act, the important bipartisan legislation. I want to thank Senator Crapo. He and I worked very closely on it, but up and down this dais, you would see Democrats and Republicans who understand how important it is to support domestic semiconductor manufacturing. I worked very hard to include it in the Build Back Better package. We're now going to have legislation come from the House and focus on it in the Senate as well. That's a special priority of mine. Second, the United States must also work with allies to ensure secure and reliable supply chains for critical supplies. And here we would be talking about steel and pharmaceutical ingredients. And finally, the government needs to crack down on trade cheating that undermines the ability of our workers to be able to compete fairly in tough markets. So, Ms. Lago, you are available online. If confirmed as Undersecretary of Trade, you're going to oversee much of the Department of Commerce's response to supply chain disruptions. Tell us how you're going to pull together analysis, enforcement, and compliance at the International Trade Office to address these extraordinary challenges we're facing with the supply chain.
Thank you so much, Chairman, for highlighting this issue, which is front of mind for so many. As you note, ITA has a number of tools in its toolkit that it can deploy to help address this issue. I'll note that while the U.S. has experienced supply chain disruptions in the past, periodically over the years, this one is different. COVID-19 shut down the global economy, and the supply chain disruptions that we're seeing are global in nature. We know that the supply chain is controlled by the private sector, so we need to work with them as they need to cooperate to get us through this. Turning specifically to ITA, you mentioned two of the tools that we have. The first is our industry and analysis team, which can perform extensive market analyses and can focus on strengthening the competitiveness of U.S. industries. Similarly, we know that there are players in the world that operate in anti-competitive ways, and ITA also has within it a well-respected, strong enforcement and compliance unit, which we, of course, if confirmed, I would stand ready to deploy in support of addressing the supply chain concerns.
Let me turn. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add to that, Ms. Lago?
No, thank you.
All right, let's turn to digital trade. It seems to me that we're at something of a fork in the road with respect to digital trade and innovation, and this has been one of my priorities since day one when I came to the United States Senate. And we've had a chance to sort of pursue a host of issues, whether it's Section 230, internet tax freedom, digital signatures. The list kind of goes on and on to try to nurture opportunities for high-skill, high-wage jobs, and at the same time promote the principles of openness and freedom on the internet. And it seems to me now we still try to bring countries together around those principles of openness and freedom on the internet, but there is another road that we have to deal with where antagonistic nations build walls around their digital economies that stifle innovation while trampling the online freedoms of their citizens. And as I indicated, Ms. Lago, this is an area where I've spent considerable amount of time both writing legislation and then with Senator Crapo and others trying to advance these ideas that promote openness and freedom on the internet here in this committee. So we need to have leadership at the office that provides the opportunity to have a critical economic engine for our country and also the greatest possible platform for the open exchange of ideas. If you're confirmed, Ms. Lago, how would you ensure that the International Trade Administration hits those twin kind of challenges, tackling censorship and authoritarian barriers to digital trade in a way that promotes democratic values and labor and human rights, while at the same time creating the opportunity of high-skill, high-wage jobs that digital trade promotes?
Thank you, Chairman. It would be hard to state the issue, the challenge, more eloquently than you did, while also highlighting the opportunity that is there in digital trade. I'm pleased to see that Ambassador Tai has spoken to the importance of this and that Secretary Raimondo, while in Asia Pacific, is hosting a forum on women in technology with a particular focus on the digital economy. If confirmed, I would so look forward to being able to work with you to tap into the expertise of you and your team and that of other members of Congress so that I would be able to take the tools within ITA's toolkit and deploy them across the interagency, because the issues that you have raised in digital trade will require the participation of numerous agencies in government. And I would so look forward to prioritizing this issue if I had the honor of being confirmed.
Very good. Senator Crapo.